You can see our total revenue. So hi everyone. I am in the office of a $120 million company, Coolly, with Roy and Neel. What makes it fun? What part of coding and building makes it fun?
I think everybody wants to leave an impact on the world, and there's very few feelings like the feeling of knowing that someone is using your software and really enjoying it, or something that you've built. Like there's nothing of more impact that Neel and I could be making on the universe.
Coolly is for cheating on everything. Where do you draw the line?
Yes.
Where does creativity come?
That's probably like the lowest point.
Today, I'm working on a rewrite of the Cooley system prompt.
So this is the parking lot we start with.
This is the Cooley garage. This is our Cooley Model X. This is our company car. We go for team dinners and like team trips in the company car. And then these are some other people's cars.
Very
a lot
nice.
of our videos happen here.
Pretty cool. Oh, so that's the studio.
This is like part of it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We do some videos here.
Oh, pretty cool. This is like Coolly studio, part of studio. Oh, that's a very cool, chill setup.
Yeah. This like setup is like very good for videos. Like we cut the lights. It's like you can't really see anything.
Oh, pretty cool.
So this is some videos down here. We got our Cooley treadmills over there.
Oh, you guys have a gym.
Just the treadmills for now, but the rest of the gym is coming soon. We got like a squat rack and a bench press and like garage frat bro garage gym setup.
So how much did the whole office cost?
The whole office was it's $40K a month. $40K a month for it's like a 6-bedroom house plus like office space. So it's very and it came furnished. So it's like a pretty good deal for like downtown SF. I think we're very happy with it.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah, let me show you space. So it's like a 3-story place, and
Incredible.
So, like 6 of us live here. And then everyone else lives in like the apartment building across the street.
Oh, you guys provide housing to everyone? Like
We do. It's like free housing for everyone.
wow.
Yeah, and I think the philosophy is like everyone should be here all the time, and it's like very hard to get here when you're like 30 minutes away and you have to go somewhere or some shit. But it's much easier when you're like a minute across the street.
Absolutely.
And if we're gonna bring people here, we might as well like make it as easy as possible for them to be here.
Awesome. Let's go.
These are our furry suits. We're doing a video with furry costumes.
Oh wow. Yeah, and you guys had strippers over here as well. Like there was a video.
We did. It was for a video. It wasn't like strippers for the sake of strippers. We wanted to do like a launch video for the after party. We wanted it to be kind of like super crazy. But what's like the craziest possible thing that would be like the most like drawing thing you could see on your feed. And the idea was like it'd be strippers and a goat.
Wow.
We got strippers and a goat, but then it actually ended up not being that like crazy video. So we like ended up doing a different video.
Oh wow. What's the wildest marketing story you have? With strippers. Do you? I saw the video of $4 million mansion or vacation trip. That was a meme, right? The last one.
No, that was like we actually filmed the recent customer school.
Yeah.
We filmed at that mansion.
Really? Is it nearby?
It was in Palm Springs.
Oh wow.
It also ended up being an upside. It's like yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
guess that's not the craziest. The craziest marketing thing we're doing is in September we're gonna do a Cooley rave.
Wow.
That will be the craziest thing we'll do, and that'll probably be like $1 million to $2 million.
Wow.
That will be like by far the craziest marketing thing we do.
Insane.
And the idea behind that is like strictly for like brand awareness, or so more people know about like the Cooley mission.
How many team members you have?
13.
13. Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is the second floor office space. Some people work here, and then we.
This is so cool. This is such a. I'll not show the view because they can predict the address.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a beautiful. There's a beautiful window, a view. I'll not reveal your address. So, and here's the.
Yeah, it's already. I think it was on Google Maps for a while. Like the address was on Google Maps for a while. So
Oh really?
yeah, but
You removed it, right?
yeah. We removed it. Yeah. But it's been out enough. Yeah, but this is like the second floor office. We have like all of our videos are like in the house now. Like an 80K camera.
Oh wow, 80K camera. It's a red camera.
Actually, no. No camera does. Just like our 18-year-old intern does all the videos. He does all like the videography.
Oh wow, we have an intern for the videos. Yeah, these are pretty. You guys make one of the coolest videos with this setup. And of course, how can I forget this background? It's beautiful.
Yeah. This is a Cooley backdrop. I usually do this way too, but this is like where some of the videos happen.
Yep.
We're getting more of those things.
And
This is yeah. This
the bedroom, one bed here.
yeah. Well, this is just somebody's temporary living here. This is like the bedrooms.
Okay, pretty cool. You guys have full-fledged bedroom with good lighting. This is wonderful. Coolly is for cheating on everything. Where do you draw the line?
Yes.
Where does creativity come?
Pretty much nowhere. But I think we draw the line pretty much nowhere, like pretty deliberately. And like I think if like the extent of cheating on everything was like kids cheating on like tests.
Uh-huh.
I don't think kids cheating on tests is like bad at all. But it's like I think cheating is bad when like one person cheats or when one person cheats to like break a system. But right now, realistically, like in every single school, like I can guarantee you, like 90-something% of students are cheating on like on most things.
Wow.
And then like a realistic sense, I went to Columbia and I know that's what it was like at Columbia, and I can guarantee you it's probably more in other places. So by cheat on everything, we mean like if this is the way like the status quo of the world, then people shouldn't be like hiding and doing like stupid stuff. Like you should like fully embrace AI everywhere. Because if you were able to use AI everywhere, then the things that students would be doing and the things that people would be doing would be much greater. Like if
Wow.
there was not, you never had to memorize anything again. You wouldn't be wasting your time on like learning the 50 capitals of like the 50 capitals and 50 states or whatever shit like that. You'd be like solving crazy problems, or like building some really cool code stuff, or like in every industry. I think like if you're able to use AI everywhere where it is helpful, I think like the things you'll be doing will be much more impressive, and humanity will like move at a much faster rate. So I think we're just like accelerating this. I think, yeah.
Interesting.
So no, there's like no line.
No, wow. So
line.
that's a very controversial take. So when you hire people, like, do you like prepare them for the controversy?
I think those people are pretty in line with the take. I think when you like I think if you think about it for a little, like I think if you come in the first place and you like cheat on everything, it immediately is very jarring. But if you think about what it actually entails and you think about like the status quo of the world, I think it's a very rational take to have, and it's like it's not really a block. I think initially it was probably more of a blocker when it was like less of another tool, but now that people are like cheating on sales and cheating on meetings, like like the division is much more clear now, I think, to people that are joining. So it's not a blocker at all, actually. Yeah.
Interesting. So like, let's say if you meet the Amazon executive who catches you cheat, if that's your take that cheating should be allowed on everywhere, what would you tell them?
Well, like that's like a systemic thing. I feel like if you're gonna cheat on an interview, you should do it like properly. Like
You shouldn't get caught.
you should, like for like students who currently use ChatGPT to cheat on school, like if they get caught using ChatGPT, like that's like, oh man, that's not like you wouldn't blame OpenAI for that. I do likewise for the software. Like
Exactly.
we're moving towards a world where like this happens more and more, and eventually like the systems get torn down. I think the fastest way to get these systems replaced is for people just to use AI everywhere. But if you're like an individual student when you get caught cheating, like do better cheating, I guess. Like that's on you, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Similar to ChatGPT, I think that's how people use ChatGPT, right? Like in the education system for the past 2-3 years.
Absolutely. So we have more comfortable seating area. That's CEO's place. Incredible.
Yeah, I think Roy's still in there. We have I can show this side. But yeah, just looking over.
Okay.
Just outside. This is like revenue graph up here.
Oh wow. So that's the revenue graph. Pretty cool. You can see our total revenue so far. Is it monthly?
This is daily.
Daily.
Yeah.
So this is today's revenue.
Yeah. This is like since like midnight today.
Oh wow. So 5,460 today.
I've been consumer subscriptions since.
Consumer subscriptions. Wow.
Yeah, we're doing pretty. Yeah.
Oh wow.
This is like total revenue all time.
All time.
Yeah.
But I thought it was 5 million right around Cluey.
We're 5 million ARR. Like ARR.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. It's ARR.
like actual.
Okay. So 5 to 7 million ARR. That's how it's calculated. This is the actual revenue right now.
On top of this, there's another 2.2 million in an enterprise contract that hasn't like come through. Or like,
wow.
Like it's like we really like signed the contract and everything. Just like there's like some deliverables before that.
Wow.
So really higher than this in revenue.
Wow. This keeps you going. Wow. Yeah.
This is very safe to show people that come in. Like I think if people are interested in working, you see this, it's like, oh wow, this is what.
Wow. This inspires every day.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Oh wow. And what's like a day in life of most people here? Like what's a day life like, It's a very cool environment, very chill workspace.
I think it's pretty different for everyone, depending like marketing versus engineering. But I think like we're pretty flexible with schedule. Like I think it's like 10:30 now, but like I think a lot of people were like going up till like 6 a.m. last night working.
Oh wow.
So it is like super flexible. Like I think we're pretty big believers. Like if the work gets done, the work gets done.
Yeah, and you guys focus on 8 hours sleep. And what's like you get DoorDash a lot, right? What's the biggest daily expense? Is it DoorDash probably?
DoorDash is the biggest. I mean like for the company, like OpenAI is probably the biggest. Like our OpenAI costs kind of. But I guess like for us as individuals, like DoorDash. But the philosophy behind DoorDash is like pretty similar to the philosophy behind housing. Like I think it's like we're not gonna hire like a ton of people. We're only gonna hire people that like are very valuable. And like the people that we bring on, they should spend all their time like working. They shouldn't have to spend time like getting food or like going to the place where they live or whatever else. Yeah,
100%.
It should be as like easy as possible.
Incredible. I love the workspace. Thank you so much, Neel, for joining me.
course, yeah,
Wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's say a student using Interview Coder or Cluely gets caught. Who is to blame? The person who builds the cheating software or the student who is cheating? What makes it fun? What part of coding and building makes it fun?
I think everybody wants to leave an impact on the world, and there's very few feelings like the feeling of knowing that someone is using your software and really enjoying it, or something that you've built. And it's just like I think humans innately have a desire to like bring value to the world and do things that change the world in the way that they want it to be changed. And right now, like I feel like Neil, like there's nothing of more impact that Neil and I could be making on the universe.
First of all, we are with the stars of Silicon Valley and the whole world in the startup ecosystem, Roy and Neel. Thank you so much for having me. I have the biggest question I would have is that interview system was broken, and you guys have an incredible journey. Your offer got rescinded from Harvard. Along with that, you got expelled from Columbia. And not just that, you got blacklisted from the whole big tech. How do you get the balls to fight the system and be so vocal about it?
I think for me, like it comes way sooner than you think. Once you are sort of as soon as Columbia sent me that first letter, like saying like, hey, we're gonna have to bring you in a disciplinary hearing, I sort of knew like, okay, it's kind of over for me. And I decided very quickly on, I'm going to make a big viral scene out of this on the internet. And before anybody really thought I was gonna do it, like I already had the intention. I'm going to try and make the biggest scene out of this possible, which is why I was posting everything on Twitter. I think generally, if you are not stupid, you kind of know what's going to happen with these big institutions. Like I know when I post a video, probably Amazon is going to blacklist me. I know when Columbia sends me a letter, I know they're probably going to think about suspending me. So at that point, very early on, I decided, okay, I'm just going to make this go as viral as possible. And very luckily for me, like it did.
So you knew that if you want to go viral, you want to post something controversial all the
Yeah.
time. And you started with like being unhinged for every single tweet out there.
Yeah.
And made it possible. How about you? Where do you get the balls? We both come from Indian origin. Like, going against the rules sometimes is not easy.
Yeah, I feel like too, like for me growing up, I think my parents both immigrated from India, so they were very of like the mindset they came from like a much safer background. I think for them growing up when they came here, they like grew up from like not so great backgrounds, so they were like relatively poor backgrounds. So they were very concerned with like trying to like get a good job, and like coming here was like a big thing for them. Actually, like their dream in life for me to like go to like a good school. So they were like very not happy with me wanting to leave. But I think they were like. I think for me, the conviction probably came from realizing from a very young age I like to build things. I like to like create things. And I think it was always something I kind of like pushed away because I was like, I should get a stable job and I should do something safer. But that was something like intrinsic. And I think at some point when I started working with Roy, that's like when it kind of really came out because I had like somebody to work with. And before Interview Coder, we did like a bunch of other side projects too. And that was probably like the most fun I had like ever had in my life realistically. And I think my parents also kind of saw that and that like me realizing I was having fun and them seeing me having fun doing it. I think that kind of gave me the conviction like this is something I like truly enjoy.
That's the reason, like startup like this cannot come from the corporations. It can only come from like, the youth like us, like who have seen how terrible the system is. If corporations can use AI to reject a candidate without even looking at the profile, then why couldn't we do the same? So that's a big question you guys answered. I'm going to start with the backstory of both of you. So why do you love to code? What age you started to code?
I actually started coding quite late. I think I started when I was about 18 years old. And as soon as I wrote that first line of code, it was like a magic moment. Like, wow, I can sort of like make anything possible. And then as soon as like ChatGPT came out and I wrote that first question, like I realized, okay, this is the thing to be doing right now. And I started a bunch of I tried to start a bunch of companies when I was younger, and like I tried to drop ship, resell shoes, all the stuff, but nothing really caught my attention except AI and programming. And as soon as these two things came out, I immediately realized like, wow, this is what I need to be doing. I need to learn programs so that I can build like an AI company. But yeah, like before then, I always knew I had an interest in starting companies, but I never really knew how exciting building could be. So yeah.
So you started to learn to code after ChatGPT era?
No, a little bit before, about a year before ChatGPT came out.
So you got to learn the basics by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was the coolest thing you had built before ChatGPT and after ChatGPT?
I probably built like it's very ironic. I built a web scraper to look for internships online so that I could auto apply to them. That was probably the coolest thing I built before ChatGPT. And after ChatGPT, I'd say probably Interview Coder is the coolest thing that I personally built like end to end. And obviously I'd say Cluely, but I do less code here.
Fascinating. How about you? When did you learn to code?
I think I started like a little bit when in middle school I started like coding a little bit. But I think then I was like very worried about like falling into the stereotype of like Indian kid that codes. So I actually like pretty like actively was like I don't want to code, even though I enjoyed it. I think I was like I thought I was gonna do like pre-med kind of shit when I like was growing up. I think I did some coding throughout like biotech or like for like computational biology research. I did some coding, but I think last summer at an internship was probably the first big coding that I did.
So last summer.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 20. Both of us are 21.
21.
Yeah.
So you went to pre-med, and so right?
Um,
Pre-med, you said.
I guess like when I was in high school, I thought I was gonna like pursue medicine, and it was more like my parents. Like it was like I thought I was gonna pursue medicine, and then I think in college I came into college and I realized that I went from that to like computational biology to like eventually CS, and so I did like some coding, but it was like more in the context of biology. So I think I had like a little bit of experience throughout. I think last summer was like the first time I worked like a coding job and like got like a lot of experience.
Fascinating, because so you both of you learned coding recently, and you guys built Interview Coder, which is gonna help, which has already helped. You know how many programmers out there?
Probably like 20,000.
20,000 programmers crack, big
Yeah.
tech and interviews. This is fascinating. And you built it in 1 week, and you debugged and made it beautiful in another week. So both of you in 2 weeks with limited programming experience. I mean, it sounds easy now with AI tools out there, but I really want to know the details. How did it happen in just 2 weeks of work?
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like AI makes programming going from 0 to 1 really, really quick. It's always much harder to build something very scalable, but just to build that first iteration to proof of concept, right now it is faster than it has ever been, and you would not believe how fast coding with AI makes you. If you know the basics and you have the vision in your head, you can sort of like make anything you want come to reality.
But it comes with the right prompt. I saw on Twitter the prompt you guys used to build Interview Coder also got leaked on Twitter. Someone
There was a lot of programming that went into Interview Coder. There's probably like thousands of prompts that went into Interview Coder. So yeah.
Yeah, thousands of them. So like some of the framework got leaked. So I want to know, like, how do you come up with beautiful prompts? What is your vibe code, stack like? So the framework you guys use in that 2 week of programming. I mean, I personally think like if I'm using Claude Code, I can probably build it again. But the main hard work goes into making, invisible layer in front of with Google Meet or WebEx. That is the harder part. It requires some playing. So if you can break down your vibe coding setup that you use to build Cluely as well as Interview Coder, it will be great. Like the step by step, what steps you took, like technical wise, both of you.
Yeah, so I guess we mainly use Cursor for the code. I think the big downfall with vibe coding is that people are too reliant on it building like the entire thing for them, and they don't bother to like look at the code. But as the code base gets bigger, the amount you're allowed to vibe code has to get smaller. You have to be very, very specific about the context that you give it. So once your repo is over say 10,000 lines of code, even then you kind of want to sort of granularly tell Cursor at every single point, these are the files that you want to touch. You have to make sure to do only XYZ thing, and sort of the amount that you're able to vibe code gets less and less. And in reality, like it sort of becomes like at one point it's like 5 lines of code at a time that AI is able to generate for you. It's able to do it faster than you would, but like the bigger your code base, the less AI is able to generate.
Big thing with vibe coding in general. I think like a lot of people just say like do this and like don't put a lot of thought into it, even at like smaller scales. I feel like you can go a lot farther with just like asking like being very deliberate about the context you're putting in and deliberate about like what you want the AI to do. And I think a lot of that is not like some weird sentence writing technique or prompt engineering technique. It's just like taking like 10 seconds to think about what you actually want before you like kind of prompt the models. Yeah.
But here comes the difficult challenge with vibe coding that most of the, vibe coders don't understand, that it still lacks with debugging skills. I think Claude Code is still up there and Devin is up there for debugging, but you cannot rely, as you said, as the code base gets bigger and bigger, you cannot rely on just vibe coding. So can you break down like the debugging infra? Do you debug all by yourself? What is the debugging infra in your like Cursor framework?
Yeah, I mean, generally, I think debugging is sort of like at a certain point, you do please fix 10 times in a row and it doesn't fix. Then at a certain point, you kind of have to get in there and like figure it out yourself. So yeah, but like the models get better every day, and by the time this video goes out, maybe like Grok 4 can actually do the debugging or whatever. So I'm not sure.
Okay, you want to add on to debugging?
Yeah, I think similar to that, but I think also that beyond just like saying please fix, I think you can go a long way with just saying like you can use AI to explain the code to you as well. I think that's like a big intermediate step. Like you versus you going to Stack Overflow and actually reading like the lines, like you just asking it to explain things and thinking it through. I think there's like an intermediate there's an intermediate step between please fix and not using AI, which is like actually using it to understand what's going on and fix it from there.
And here comes the most important question. Even with the tools out there, why do you all still learn to code, and why do you still enjoy coding? The biggest lessons what I've learned from founders is the day you stop learning, is the day you feel like quitting. If you're not learning, you don't have like, the enthusiasm needed to build. So why do you still, what do you think is something with Cluely, Interview Coder that keeps you going?
Like right now, like you can ask Grok for all you want, like, hey, build me Google search. Hey, it's not going to build you Google search. Like right now, if you truly want to build something that is meaningful and world changing, then you kind of have to like you have to be in their programming. And right now, like AI can't do the big giant programming projects. And if you want to build that world changing technology, you do still have to learn how to program. I'll say that's the case for learning how to program. And yeah, we're just driven by a desire to build technology that changes the world. It's like the most exciting thing you could do with your life. And yeah, it's literally the most exciting thing you could ever do in your life.
What makes it fun? What part of coding building makes it fun?
I think everybody wants to leave an impact on the world, and there's very few feelings like the feeling of knowing that someone is using your software and really enjoying it, or something that you've built. And it's just like I think humans innately have a desire to like bring value to the world and do things that change the world in the way that they want it to be changed. And right now, like I feel like Neel, like there's nothing of more impact that Neel and I could be making on the universe than building this company.
100%.
The feeling of somebody using your thing, I think, is like the highlight of programming. I think it's just like that is like the way you build things, like more so than any other like probably profession. Like coding is like how you can create things that are actually used. And like today's, like with AI in today's day and age, that's probably the biggest impact thing you can do.
Now, coming back to the product side, I think, if a student catches, for example, when I was going through Interview Coder, I read that currently Amazon, like you made a live cracking the Amazon interview video, which went viral. And Amazon, with their framework, I don't know which one they use. You posted and updated on Interview Coder that Amazon is able to detect Interview Coder at the moment. It's conditional.
Yeah. So, some softwares, if you use like the Amazon Chime test.
Amazon Chime, yeah.
Yep.
It's detectable. So what my question here would be, let's say a student using Interview Coder or Cluely gets caught. Who is to blame? The person who builds the cheating software or the student who is cheating?
I would argue it's the student who's cheating. I mean, if you get caught turning an essay written by ChatGPT, then that's like your fault, not ChatGPT's fault.
That's the gray area. I think that's why your product is fully legitimate. And for that reason, you getting kicked out of Columbia happened not for building Interview Coder. It happened because you were cheating live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyone watching, any student watching, using, they they have to figure out if they want to use it or not and go against the rules. But you guys are completely good.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So that's why I think, when you wanted to raise, were you ever blacklisted by a VC or like, because you're not doing something illegal. Only the students using the software. It's very gray. How difficult it's to raise funds to expand. So you guys have expanded from Interview Coder to a general purpose platform. I can use it to, talk to girlfriends, online dates, and, all that stuff. And sales.
Yeah, I'd say fundraising has been pretty easy, but it's not like every single VC loves us. I think when you are so polarizing, like you have a lot of people that really like you and you have a lot of people that really don't like you. And as a result, we're like half the funds in the world, we're probably never ever going to be able to raise from because they just were like morally bankrupt. But half the funds in the world, they like are super excited about us and think we're doing something great. So yeah, like fundraising has been easy because right now we're on the good books of like about half the VCs.
Absolutely. Books in the Bay Area are not written by, by the letter of law. They're written by the spirit of law. Just like Uber followed the spirit of law but broke the letter of law.
Yeah.
So, the rules can be played around, and that's why people love you. You guys came from the spirit of interview taking, which was already broken. People hate the interviews for, most importantly, dynamic programming. It's so rigorous. I can tell you, I just quit my job, at Big Tech. I can tell you, dynamic programming is every student's nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not about learning the concepts. It's about memorizing 3 to 4 ways. It's about memorizing and cramming those 3 to 4 ways, optimizing in your interview and figuring out, I'm going to use this method for dynamic programming or other. I have to make sure that, dynamic programming is in my conscious memory instead of subconscious every single time. I have to cram basically. It's no more about, understanding. what are the roots of Cluely and Interview Coder? Was it a concept in coding that you hated and you wanted to get around? Was it a type of algorithm you hated? I want to know that backstory.
Yeah, I'm like actually a pretty big fan of dynamic programming. I thought it was like one of the more fun leak code questions that I did. But generally, I think leak code in general, it feels like it should be something that you do for fun, like riddles. And like riddles are supposed to be fun, and like they're supposed to be fun because they don't actually help you in the real world at all. And like nobody does leak code questions on the job. But somehow they turn into this industry-wide practice where you have to know leak code in order to get a big tech job. And I just felt like that was very silly. Like we're basing people off metrics that have nothing to do with their actual ability to program. And I think it was stupid. And I feel like Interview Coder was like my way of taking a stand against it.
And do you have a story like the day you built Interview Coder? So like if you were comfortable with dynamic programming, then what particular concepts you wanted Cluely or Interview Coder to help you the day you actually made it? I want to know the first time you actually built it, tested it, and
Yeah.
you were like, okay, this is the use case I wanted to build for, and it turned out to be way more useful than that. I want to know about that
Well,
epiphany.
actually, I never built Interview Coder with the intention of using it. Like I myself, I have like 600 leak code solved, and I'm like
wow.
2,000 rated. So I'm like pretty good at leak code. I'm good enough to pass the interviews. I built Interview Coder really to like. I built it with the intention of going viral in mind. I knew that if I did it and I posted myself using the Amazon interview, then it would go viral. And I didn't know exactly what would come out of it, but I just thought it'd be like a really cool project. Yeah.
It was fully before me and Roy built Interview Coder, I think like we kind of like decided we wanted to do startups, or there was like a lot that went into that, but we kind of decided we wanted to do startups. So at that point, it was like we're not going to try to get a job, so we might as well build this tool to like get like we don't really care if we get blacklisted at that point.
Your dream was to become a founder way before actually figuring out which problem you want to solve. It just happened to be that you were finding every day what problems will help you become a founder. Because currently, I think we live in a generation where like founding a company is not about inventing something out of the box. Solution is out there. AI is the solution. We are reverse engineering to find problems that can be solved with AI. Do you agree?
Well, I think right now AI is such a big technology that pretty much any problem or any area you pick, there will be a way that AI can like massively transform the industry and like make you $1 billion. Like right now, we're at such a unique point in history where even if you go looking for problems or looking for ways AI can change the world, like you will find a way that AI can change it because like AI is such a massive technology. And right now, like I think Interview Coder was one example, but there's like so many examples just like this. Interview Coder was a problem that I experienced, and I knew like I wanted to do something about like the leak code interview, and I knew that AI could and AI did. But there's like literally an infinite number of problems like this in the world.
100%. And so coming back to your college journey, you wanted to become a founder first. You always tweet that college is just useful for finding your partner, wife, or co-founder. Rest all the knowledge out there, at least for coders, is not necessary. You can learn on your own CS50 online. So how did you find Neel? How did you convince him? Because I think for you, the biggest bet was finding a co-founder, because we live in the world of isolationism. In America, a 16-year-old buys a car, goes to grocery store in a car, talks to nobody while going to school, coming back from school. This is a very isolated society we're living in. And finding co-founders is difficult because you're not having, experiences together. For example, when I was going to school, going in a bus, meeting the same person home because we live in the same community, going to grocery store in buses. You make friends, you in a community, but now you can just be isolated. You can choose to be isolated just by staying in your car, destination, and your source. So how did you find Neel?
As soon as I got to Columbia, like literally the second I got to Columbia, I walked around asking every single smart looking person I met, hey, do you want to build a company with me? And like Neel was one of them. And I probably asked about 50 people, and Neel was the only person that said yes. But he didn't even say yes at first. Like we later had to meet at a party, and I had to like convince him, let's start a project together. And we just mutually agreed, okay, let's start something small together. And we started something small, but then immediately we both thought it was like super fun. Like, this is really cool. You're not stupid. And we both thought, like you're a smart guy. Like, let's keep it.
What was your thought process then?
It was pretty similar to that, I think. I will say I think it was very good that we worked on a lot of small projects together. I think like finding somebody you can work well with is like pretty big for a co-founder. Compared to I was at Columbia for like 2.5 years, and I think I kind of knew I wanted to do something, but I was like didn't really have anyone to like do it with. I think like meeting Roy versus everyone at Columbia, I think like what was very like immediately appealing to me about Roy is that he was like a very social person. I think because of his backstory, he like uniquely valued social situations. I think like to your point about isolationism, I think a lot of people that like Columbia like took that for granted and really put a lot of effort. Like especially in junior year, like nobody would go and like it was like weird to go and talk to somebody new. But Roy was like, yeah. I feel like Roy was like very, very socially forthcoming, and I think that was like a hugely positive. I was like, wow, this is like a much better way to live, like just to do companies and stuff, but also just like in living life. I think like it's like a much better way to like much better framework to live life with.
And how was convincing your parents like, both of you?
It was super easy for me. I told my parents for years I'm going to start a company and I'm probably not going to graduate college. So they were ready, and they were pretty shocked at first, but you know they were like, this was like not the craziest thing that I'd ever done even. So they were pretty cool with it.
I think it was
Because you quit Columbia before him. He was in the process of getting expelled. You quit before.
Yeah.
You left Columbia before. So
it was less easy for me. I think it wasn't that bad. I think like my parents were I kind of like blindsided them with it. Like in that sense, like I kind of told them I was like working on this thing with Roy, and then one day I was like, oh, I think I want to leave school, and they were like, what? Why are you? It was like out of nowhere. But given how out of nowhere it was, and given how much they valued like me going to Columbia, they were very, very supportive. I think.
but what route did you take? Like people say that forgiveness is better than permission. Or was it taking permission in your case? Both of you.
For me, I mean, it's definitely I went the forgiveness route. Like I didn't even tell my parents until Columbia was like until like 2 weeks before Columbia kicked me out. And then like at that point it's like, sorry mom, like there's nothing you can do about it. I'm already about to get kicked out. And she was just like, okay, fine, whatever.
I think it was a little bit of both. I kind of asked / told them. I don't think there's anything like I think they would never have said anything like we don't support. Like they would have always have been supportive of me. I think if they weren't supportive, maybe I wouldn't have. But I know that they care about me, and they wouldn't have been like put me in a place like that. So I basically told them, yeah. I told them.
So now an important question from the product side, coming from, let's say, students who are going to use Interview Coder or Cluely tomorrow. So let's say tomorrow, just like Amazon Chime is maybe like can check, if you have Cluely or Interview Coder in the background. What if other tools out there catch up and are able to detect? Can a student file a lawsuit against you? Be like, oh, it's on Interview Coder, it's written that it is undetected for HackerRank. So what guarantee you give to student?
For Cluely, we don't really care. I think for Cluely, we're trying to migrate out of the cheat on school use case, and we're really trying to hammer down, like the concept, the vague concept of cheat on everything. We want Cluely. You should be able to use it for a meeting, a sales call, like any sort of position where you might want help from AI. You should be able to use it to like cheat. But like if you get detected in a Zoom call and like during a meeting, like so what? In the future that we're building, nobody cares that you're using Cluely because everybody's using Cluely.
But what about coming to the same question?
Yeah, for students, I mean, I like tough luck.
So it's on them.
Yeah. I mean, if a student gets caught using ChatGPT, like it's on them. Like, what does ChatGPT do to make sure it's undetectable? Like nothing, right?
I mean, so if tomorrow a student will get screwed, and then you guys will figure out, oh, it's no more working on HackerRank. It's basically a bet.
Well, for Interview Coder, we're quite confident. Like, there's no way you can patch this in the browser. You have to literally download some anti-cheat virus in order to detect Cluely, in order to detect Interview Coder. So we're very confident that you will never be able to detect it if you are just like going on hackerrank.com.
Okay, you're pretty confident. But for Amazon,
100% confident.
100%.
100%. Yeah,
That's
guaranteed.
the confidence you need as a founder. Okay, but for Amazon Chime, how long do you think it's going to take you to catch up?
We're not really developing Interview Coder anymore. It's sort of just a standalone product. It works for all browser-based assessments, and that's what we're using it for. But right now, like we're really focused on the big picture of a Cluely rather than the interview cheating tool.
So you're just like letting some other founder like catch up.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if they want to catch Cluely for school, then sure. Like we won't use Cluely for school then, and the Cluely will be just for like everyone who's not in school, which is like most people in the world.
Okay, got it. You want to add on here?
No, yeah, that's kind of the vision. I think it's like it's just such a small fraction of the pie that we don't really care. It's like if like a 0.0 something % of our user base is like that's not what we're optimizing for the world to use Cluely, or like that's kind of our vision for it.
So you guys reached from 3 million ARR to 7 million in a week. On Cluely, right?
That didn't really happen in a week, but we reported the big jump. Yeah, it happened over a little bit more than a week.
Can you share the behind the scenes hard work around distribution, marketing, and the growth that founders can learn from you? For example, what we see is you're the guy's viral on Twitter, getting the distribution, but how it is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think I'm probably one of the people in the world who understand the Twitter algorithm best, like better than anyone. And right now, I think it's pretty obvious that people on tech Twitter miss a few like very key things that are common among every single short form algorithm. Your posts need to be engageable, they need to be relatable, they need to be short and understandable and concise. And pretty much everyone in tech just like gets like the very basic things wrong. I think if you want something to be viral, it is actually very easy to make something go viral. Most people just do not have enough understanding of the algorithm to do it. And a big part of the reason, like the main driver of growth on Cluely is the fact that I'm able to be so viral on Twitter. In fact, I think this is our main driver of growth. And yeah,
So 90% of the users are coming from Twitter, from your page, and 10% maybe referrals.
exactly. Yeah,
That's mind blowing.
yeah,
Oh wow.
it's pretty crazy.
And like, if you want to expand with the VC money you got, like, how much you raised, by the way?
Over a little over 20 mil now.
Over 20 million.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fascinating. What is the future of Cluely? How are you going to use 20 million and integrate Cluely, in our day-to-day life?
Yeah, I think we're gonna we're probably gonna quadruple down on all the marketing stunts that we're doing. We have a really fleshed out growth playbook, and we're gonna hammer down on every single thing. All the videos that you've seen so far, we're gonna try and like 7x them, and every single stunt that you've done that you've seen, we're gonna try and like do this, but in 10 times bigger. So that's on the marketing front. On the engineering front, there's like a really big vision for Cluely. We want to be the AI that responds to you proactively without you needing to prompt it. I think the biggest problem with models is that they are right now super intelligent, they're super smart, but you can only react to them with like a chatbot. And in reality, the model should have so much more context about you. And with enough context, you shouldn't have to ask a model a question. The model should be able to predict what question you want to be asked. And those are sort of the specific models and engineering challenges we're running into. It'll probably be very expensive to train these models, but that's what we raise the money for.
Oh, so you are going to go the route of training your own models
Yep,
to
exactly.
make it more efficient. Interesting, because like I think production costs, having better videos won't add, like, would make up even $1 million out of the 20 million. So can you break down how do you plan to spend in marketing? You're a marketing genius. So
Thank you.
I want to learn, like, if you had to now, with your Twitter page, what it is right now, if you had to quadruple that growth, where would you spend that marketing on?
I think on Twitter, it's very hard to quadruple growth from where I am. I've probably like saturated the algorithm, probably growing the fastest that an account could possibly grow. But outside of Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, these are like sort of the three angles that we really want to push hard on. And I think it's actually very easy to do this, and it's very like the formulas are all there. For example, every single time, every single week, Mr. Beast puts out a video that is of really high production, and the only reason most people can't make that video is because they don't have the money. But now we have money, and this is for the first time like almost a content creation team has been venture backed, and now we have the money to make like Mr. Beast style videos or like Jubilee style videos. Like there's so many things that are proven to go viral. I will say there's a lot of comparisons directly you can draw between content and building companies. There's sort of like content market fit. Like a 20v1 blind date from the Jubilee post. That is a viral content format. You just rip that exactly and just replicate it one for one. Yours will probably go viral too because it's proven to have virality fit. And like now that we have so much money, we're not just going to do one video format. We're going to have like 10. All at the same time, done by 10 different production studios.
So founders-led video production and marketing.
Yep.
You're not gonna go the route of influencer-led marketing or affiliate marketing, which founders or like companies with less VC money do. So you're gonna just go all in into founder-led marketing.
Everything should be organic. Everything should be founder-led, I think.
Wow.
People like seeing people's faces. Like it's just way more efficient to spend all the money into like founder-led marketing versus like some random like paid ad or some random ad of like some random person that you don't really care about. I think like people like love the Cluely brand. Like I think not just like at this point it's not just the founders. So I think like the whole Cluely team I think is starting to become part of the brand.
Where do most amount of your efforts go into?
I think it changes a lot on a day to day. But I think right now we're at like the main thing that kind of drives growth is I think like the product or like thinking about where we want to take the product. I think like we're like pretty like charting pretty like unexplored like AI like territories, and like nobody's ever made a proactive AI assistant. So I think there's been like a lot of like long discussions about like what actually is like important and like what actually is like a good product, and most of these aren't based on like things we pull from other places just because we're like inventing something completely new. It's just like our intuitions. So I think probably the biggest thing is like product thought and like thinking about where the product should go.
100%, because we are in one of the world's, because we are in the history of one of the world's unconventional day. Like you guys are, world's first unconventional idea of getting a VC fund. And most importantly, VC fund for making, VC fund going into a creator-led marketing at the same time an unconventional idea. How does it feel where you are right now? Because people from outside see you all as very successful. What do you all think of yourself?
It feels very new and exciting. I'll say like we're probably not anywhere near as successful as we think we should be. I think we're on the tip of a very, very big iceberg, and other people will look at us and be like, oh my God, like they found ice or something. It's like I think the actual vision of Cluey is much, much bigger. And if we're right, we won't just be, like millionaires, we'll be like trillionaires. And that's where the end state of Cluey is. So I don't feel successful at all right now. I'll say it feels good that we are pushing the envelope so far in something. I think the future isn't built by people who like follow the playbook. The future is built by people who like break rules and like try new things. And right now we're trying new things more than anybody else, I think.
100%. And you have a fair chance, because the biggest advantage with any startup, and especially with your startup, is incumbents can never innovate as fast as startups can.
Yep. Exactly.
And even if you are like a year ahead, the options incumbent has to either acquire you all or spend 2 years more in building the same product. So startups will always be ahead. How about you? How do you feel about yourself, about the success that people see from outside?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Roy in that it feels like, I think it pretty internally feels like we're like at day one, like everything you do, it feels like this is the start. Like we can, like, I think we see very clearly, like there's so much more that we're going to do. So it just feels like we're just like starting out on some sick journey. I think I will say like this is like the most fun I've ever had in my life. So I feel successful in the sense like I'm doing something I enjoy more so than ever before.
And learning a lot.
And learning like insane, like way more than like ever before. I don't think I feel successful, and like I don't think we made like anything yet. I think we're like on this feels like we're on day one. And I think also from like we spend all our time in the office too. Like I feel like we spend like most of our day in the office. Like I just feel like we don't really see the outside world enough to like to get things like it just feels like we're like in the weeds here. But yeah, day one, I would say.
Of course, I could tell from the vibe of your office space that it's your second home. It doesn't feel like your
exactly.
Office. I see the camaraderie of your teammates. It's fantastic. Now I want to go to the spending. 20 million again. So how much you think OpEx require? So for example, for these big tech companies who have LLMs, they spend on capex because they have to acquire the infrastructure. I think you guys will be investing in OpEx, operations, and like training the model using, let's say, AWS, optimizing what cloud platforms to use, how to fine train and speed up the inference, maybe using Grok. So can you share what are your thought process on investing 20 million in OpEx?
I guess we'll put in as much money as we need. I think fundraising for us is like very simple. If we use all the 20 million, then we'll go out and raise 20 more million. And it is like pretty standard. Like we'll use the money that we need to build the best product that we can. And go as viral as we can. So those are like our two guiding North Stars. And I don't really think of us having like only $20 million in the bank. If it takes $50 million to train a great model, then we'll go raise another $30 million and do that.
Can you expand on like what kind of models you will have to train and what part of Cluey will?
Yeah, I mean, like right now, the very interesting thing about Cluey is different models wait for you to prompt them. Cluey will offer you prompts to do. So rather than asking questions, it'll like predict which questions you might have. And this is fundamentally different. No other company in the world has this sort of data. And as a result, we can start just by fine tuning an open source model to like get what are the best sort of predictive questions. But now we have so much more data, and it's so multimodal, and it's so specifically contextual to Cluey that we will eventually have our own models trained. But I think right now the lowest hanging fruit, the starting point is fine tune an open source model to get really good outputs for Cluey.
I guess I will say that's also one of the feedback I read for Cluey, and I've used the product myself. I think, most of the people on Reddit out there say the same, that, when you start a new chat, it starts from zero with no memory. If you guys train your own models, and if it has memory of all the meetings you have attended, like your entire history and understanding what you really want automatically and predicting it well, I think you will be on top of things.
Yeah.
So with the tools we have right now for vibe coding, what is your favorite tool out there? Claude Code, Devin, Cursor?
I think Cursor is the best. I think right now, like Claude Code is really good. It's really powerful, but it exists in the terminal. And right now, there's benefit to having something in the integrated code editor. Bad experience. I think right now there's nothing that really beats Cursor, and soon maybe there will be. But as of today, July 15th, Cursor is the best.
Yeah, I agree pretty strongly with that. I feel like Cursor is very good. I think like we're at like a point in the world where like pretty much anybody with any level of technical expertise can figure out how to make an MVP for like most any products. Unless you're building something like ridiculously technical, I think most people can build the MVP for anything, which I think is, yeah.
At the same time, what advice you would have for new coders out there? Because you guys learned to code, did 600 lead code problem,
Yeah.
but it's ironic that it's promoted in a way, at least on social media side, that they don't need to do lead code with the tools out there. They don't need to learn to code with Cursor out there. What advice would you give them?
I'd say you should try to build more and more impressive projects. And the bigger projects you try to build, the more you will realize like, oh, AI can't do this yet. And when you are just starting out, it will feel like AI can do everything, but I promise you it can't. And you'll only ever realize that it can't once you try and build the biggest project imaginable. And I think my advice right now would be the same advice that people would give 20 years ago, which is build more cool things. AI right now gives you the opportunity to build things that are way bigger, way cooler, way faster. But still, at a certain point, you kind of have to learn things. And if you learn programming through building, which is like what everybody does, then you like in the age of AI, you can also learn coding and programming through like vibe coding. At a certain point, you have to learn very relevant things. And when you go back when you go out with the intention of I want to build Google search, you'll realize AI only takes you maybe 20% of the way there, and then you kind of have to learn the rest yourself.
100%.
Yeah, I think the same point. I think like at the point where now like AI can't do everything. I think one other piece of advice is I think like you probably can do anything. I think like this is something I think me and Roy learned too is like when we started, I think there was a lot of things we just assumed we weren't good at. Or there's like somebody who's better at like SEO or somebody who's better at this or that. Like most things you probably care, like you as a convicted person are probably gonna do better than somebody who's like experienced. So I think just as like somebody starting out, you should be convicted that you can do anything. I think that's a good mentality to approach like founding with.
That's a beautiful lesson. I think people out there have to build bigger with big tools out there. You know, they cannot just stick to smaller projects like tic-tac-toe and simple e-commerce websites, which we have seen. It should be out of their context at the moment. And what's the wildest use case of Cluely and, you know, interview coder that you're proud of or you've seen, like talking to girlfriends, or some biggest, wildest story you have?
For us specifically,
Yeah.
Craziest use case of Cluely for us.
So we like seeing somebody use or like
Yeah. So like, I mean,
There's some people that like talk to Cluely like a relationship. Like they put on voice mode and they just speak to it as if it were their girlfriend. That was pretty crazy for us. I think us.
yeah.
There's like a lot of conversation. There's like some conversations we have with like foreign governments, and they'll often like bring up terms and companies that we have no idea about, and we can just pretend like we know it because Cluely sort of like tells us like this is like the Saudi company of XYZ, and we're like, oh yeah, of course I know that company.
Yeah, have you thought of like making it bigger? For example, like tools like Granola. You know about Granola?
Of course, yep.
So, for example, I use Cluely as well as Granola. For me, the bigger challenge out there is like some of my notes. I go to conferences a lot. I take notes, handwritten notes, and notes with Granola. I can chat with them. But the online notes, sometimes they're on Cluely, some are Granola. Can we one day imagine one app, maybe Cluely, replacing all the note-taking aspects?
Of course, I mean that's like the first step of world conquest for us is being all the other note takers. I think we are the first real-time meeting note taker, and I think a lot of people really underestimate the value of a real-time meeting note taker.
What do you all think of Soham Parekh, by the way?
I think it's so funny, it's so hilarious what he did, and like he's obviously a good engineer. He's able to do the work of like 5 engineers, and whatever company he's at is pretty lucky to have him.
It's pretty crazy. Like I feel like everyone's like, oh, this is like scale. Like it's pretty crazy. They did like 5, like not just like random companies like YC startups or like very like highly technical works worth of work. We made a video about it. Like I don't know if you saw the video. Like that was pretty fun to make.
Oh, you guys made a video with him?
This is Roy's
I made a
idea.
video about him.
Oh, wow. Because like I'm going to interview him tomorrow. So I'm like, he's actually like you. He's actually going to raise funds tomorrow in this week, building a big product, which is going to be unconventional like you all. He thinks of actually using the name, maybe Soham as a service. Who knows? What advice you would have if someone unconventional like Soham watching?
I would say if you find out that you are very good at something and you want to build a big company, then the answer is never ever to turn away from the thing that you were good at. Even if the thing you are good at is like lying to YC startups, you will only ever build a great company, an exceptional company, by tripling down on the things that you yourself are exceptional at. I would say seek out the things you're exceptional at, even if they are unconventional, and just keep doubling down on them because you never know where it might take you.
Excellent. And my final question would be, there is a lot of, you guys are canceled pretty much by big tech out there, right?
Yeah.
So what advice you would have for the big tech industry? How can they fix the interview process that it's not broken like it is?
I would say just assume everyone's using AI. Try to give questions that are more reflective of the job. On the job, all your developers are going to code with AI anyway, so you might as well, like give interviews with AI.
100%. They should like allow, us to see how fast someone can code using AI versus against AI. No one can, right now, no coder can beat AI beat code.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's like a pointless game. Like the whole cheating thing. Like soon it's gonna be like on our glasses. Like there's gonna be AI in your glasses and AI in your brains. Like it is like an inevitability. Like it is so counterintuitive for like people who are like the pioneers of innovation to be like the ones who are like the most adamant about blocking it. Yeah, I would say like just soon people are using AI. Like it's not like you need to. It's not like you should probably adapt. It's like you need to adapt. It's like way like they should have adapted a long time ago. Yeah, so I'd say like figure out a way to interview with AI.
Excellent. Last final question. If in terms of looking at the numbers, it's just wild to see the numbers. What is the highest and lowest point of your journey with Cluely and Interview Coder, which we don't see,
The highest point was probably maybe, I don't know, I feel like every single week there's like a new high point. It's like, oh my God, I didn't think we'd get here so fast. Like literally the next week we get even farther, and it's like I didn't think we'd get here so fast either. And maybe the highest point is when we signed our first big enterprise contract. That's when we really thought, okay, I actually think we might have something that works here. And it's pretty crazy. And the lowest point of everything, maybe towards the start of Interview Coder, at one point, we were thinking about splitting up as co-founders, and we were thinking of like maybe like shutting down the whole operation. And this is when like Colombia was like breathing down my neck, and Amazon was breathing down my neck too. That's probably like the lowest point.
I mean, we couldn't imagine looking at your tweets. I pretty much was sure that you would go big.
I think another high point was like when we did like our recent product launch. I think like the live note taking, like the when we launched like real time note taking and like the actions. I think that was like very cool because it felt like we had a product that was like I think that felt like we had a like, wow, this is like a crazy product. And I don't think that moment specifically was like anything, but I think like that felt like the start of like we have a good product and now we're gonna like rip with this good product. Yeah, I think lowest moment was like saying when we were starting out. I think there was like it was like that, but there was like I think a couple of arguments that we had like as like when we started as like co-founders. But I think like me and Roy have like very different personalities, so I think it was like because we have very different personalities. I think people with different personalities like tend to have arguments. I think because we had those arguments early, we learned it was like very difficult. We learned how to like argue and like come through it. So I think now we're like able to have like arguments and have discussions, and like we know like we're gonna go through it better. So I think that makes us like a better co-founder pair, that we like have that like skill set.
Of course, like that's a great combination to have as well. Someone who thinks broad, someone who's too, attention to details. And you guys like had a contingency plan too at the time?
Not really, no. I mean, everything has been 50-50 from the start.
Oh, all in. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roy. Thank you so much, Neel. It was wonderful talking to you.
Nice getting.
Incredible discussion. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.